Hi, Team Crushing It. I'm down in my basement again, away from the dogs. I just wanted to record, plus, I have a nice little spot where I can set this. I wanted to record a little video today to just, I was listening to Jim Rohn's The Art of Communication, I think it is, or the Five Steps to Better Commu. I don't know, I'll post it. If you've never listened to Jim Rohn, you're missing out on something really good for your personal development. He's entertaining, he makes you smile and laugh, but he also has wonderful tips. And many of the first ones that I heard when I started as a coach, I know were quotes that came directly from him because I recognize them. I would hear things. Like one of them was Larry Zimberg, who used to be with Beachbody, at an event that I went to, saying, when something happens in your business that didn't work the way you hoped it was, this is what you should say. Isn't that interesting? And I thought it was Larry's words, pearls of wisdom. But then when I was listening to Jim Rohn, I realized that's where he got it. And I also know that he used to quote Jim Rohn quite a bit. So it's not unusual, I guess, that he would have quotes from him. But what I kind of wanted to talk about with you today is, and again, if you're busy, put me on in the background and go about your business and just listen to what I'm saying. You don't really need to see me. But what I wanted to talk about was leaving yourself an escape route and basically not doing it. And here's the reason why. Most of us get into this business and we're excited and we can't wait to get started. Those of us who come in wanting to grow a business. And then things happen, reality sets in, life happens. Things happen in our family. We have family crises. We have work commitments. We have, you name it. Things happen that suddenly make it much more difficult to do what we thought we were going to be so able to do when we started out because we were so pumped up. And it's just like with our workouts, we are that, and the people that you talk to about that, they're pumped up when they start. And then within a week or two, they're going, oh, I just can't get myself out of bed. I don't really want to do it. It's the same mentality. And I asked myself, here's one thing you guys need to really be aware of, and you need to understand this. No matter where those of us are in our business, no matter what rank we are, no matter how much of a leader you may see us as being, and I'm talking all the way up to Wayne Wyatt, Doug Fitzgerald, Hillary Kelly, all these people that have done so amazingly well. I don't put myself in their league. I do think I'm pretty decent at what I do. I have a lot of room for improvement, but who doesn't? But here's the thing. If you think that I don't feel the same levels of disappointment and the same discouragements that you feel, I have coaches on my team that I know would crush this business if I could just reach them, and I can't. I have customers who buy challenge packs from me and start groups and then fall off within a couple of weeks. And no matter what I do, I can't pull them back in. I have, people that are constantly telling me, yeah, I want to sign up, or I want to be a coach, or I want to do this or that, and months go by and they don't do it. Or coaches who drop in rank on my team, which once in a while, when that happens, it hits me too, because it happens to be on a leg that's critical to my status. So when they fall, bam, so does the person up above them and me, and bam, I've fallen now too. And, so these things happen to all of us. And here's what I really want you to realize. There are times when if I had left myself an escape route, literally or figuratively, I probably would have taken it. Because quite literally, as much as I love what I do, like anything in life, it's going to be fraught with frustration at times. It's going to sometimes just make you want to scream. There are times when I feel like a caged animal. Not very often, but when something really very disappointing happens to me, and for that moment in time, I feel that urge to, my God, if I could just run, I would run so far away, nobody'd ever find me. I feel that way. And I pull myself back together because, first of all, and this is very true for me, I don't really have what I consider to be a viable escape route. Yes, I could go out and get a part-time job. Yes, I could go back to doing legal transcription. Yes, I could probably even, you can do anything you set your mind to, right? I could probably go back into the workforce if I really wanted to. It would not be easy. I've been out of it since my kids were little, but I could. But the thing is I don't want to do any of those things. And I want purpose in my life. Even if my husband was making, and he actually does make enough money that where we could live reasonably comfortably if I was doing nothing at all, but not the way I want to live. we wouldn't have the ability to go out to dinner and do some of the things, on a more frequent basis without having to think about it. I wouldn't be able to go shopping and buy what I want. Maybe that's not a big deal, but I've gotten used to doing those sort of things. So maybe those would be pulled out from under me. But we could live. We could do it. But I don't like the looks of that. And I don't like the idea of quitting something that I know I can do just because something happened that made me unhappy. I've had days, not for a while, I'll grant you that, but early on as a coach where things would be so disappointing sometimes, I would cry all day because I was devastated. I came in with such high hopes and then something that I was expecting. I've shared with you some of this. Some of you who have been with me for a while know some of these stories. Like the coach, this is still my big one that I don't think anything has topped this one, who signed up as a coach with me and an hour later switched to another coach after she had her Getting Started Right interview with me. And if you don't think that did not make me feel about as bad as anything could make somebody feel, then you just imagine how that must have felt. Not only did she switch coaches, she did it after she talked to me, which now felt personal. It felt like a personal, I don't really like you. That's probably not what it was. It was probably another coach who she had been talking to. Here's the scenario I think probably happened is she went back and told this person I signed up under so-and-so, and maybe she had a deeper connection with the other coach, and the other coach said, you still have time to quit to change if you want to. You've got 72 hours. So she took it. She did it. I was devastated. I was crushed. I was a fairly new coach. It not only was a disappointment in losing a coach, it was also, it hurt my feelings terribly. So it was really hard. I could have walked away. I could have said, I don't need this. I'm leaving. So here's what I want to ask you guys. And this is what they talk about when they talk about your big why. Why did you want to do this? It has to be so, you have to find what it is that it makes it so important to you that no matter what happens, you'll pick yourself back up and keep going. Because you don't want to go back to what you were doing before. It would feel like, who knows what it is for you? It could be a sense of failure if you do that. It could be going back to a job and being stuck in something that you now don't, you're going to have to stay in because you now don't have something else you can build up to get out. Some people get into this, they hate the jobs they do in their regular life and they would like to get out. And as soon as you stop doing this, because you've gotten discouraged, now you're back in that hole again, stuck. In my mind, I'm picturing it like this trap that you now can't get out of because you've taken away your escape route in that case. So the point I'm trying to make is don't have an escape route. Make it so that that you pull yourself back up, that you tell yourself, yeah, I got knocked down royally today, but that doesn't mean I'm down for the count. It doesn't mean I'm down forever. It just means I got down today. I can get back up tomorrow and I can move. And if you don't do that, you'll never hit those highs. You'll never find those people out there, and they're out there. I can't tell you how many times I've had somebody tell me, that's too expensive, I can't afford it. And all of a sudden, 2 or 3 weeks later, when the inspiration for some reason hits and they realize they want it, all of a sudden they've got money coming out of the woodwork that they said they didn't have. Now, granted, some people tell me that they're strapped for money. It really is tight, but even there, most people, when they really want something bad enough, they will find a way to pay for it. If they continually tell you, I can't afford it, that's somebody who doesn't really want to do it. Let's face it, you haven't been able to reach them. And that's another thing I want to talk about. That happens with your customers, and it also happens with team members. You always have a chance of pulling somebody back in if they are at least reaching back a little bit. Even if you're doing most of the reaching and they're just reaching back a little bit, you do have the possibility of pulling them up. But if they're not even looking in your direction, and they're not even listening to you anymore, you can reach all the way down, sink your hand down into the sand or whatever it is, and dig around down there, and you're not going to find them because they are not looking for you. They are not paying attention to you. They don't care what you have to say. You're not going to be able to reach them. And and it's hard because as a coach, that, okay, that's a person on my team. I know if they could just get their act together, they would crush this business. But if they don't want to do it, It doesn't matter how much you want it for them. It does not matter. They have to want it for themselves. So you cannot beat yourself up over the head when you have people, coaches, customers, prospects, even family members who fight you tooth and nail. You can't beat yourself over the head because of what they will or will not do. It has nothing to do with you. It's not your fault. The only thing you can do is say, okay, that person is not going to reach back. It makes me sad. I wish they would. I see so much there for them if they would just do this, but until they're ready and they're going to turn around now and look at me and reach out to me, I might as well just keep on going because I'm wasting my breath, my time, and I'm making myself crazy for nothing because it's not going to happen. So that's kind of what I wanted to share with you today is you will hit disappointment. Some of you that are coming in new, there's going to be days when you're going to say, I don't want to do this anymore. I hate it. Maybe you'll have a whole day of things that nothing seems to go right. It happens. But look at your life. It happens in every job you've ever had. It happens, and you'll put up with all kinds of crap for a job you hate, for a measly little paycheck that you barely can make ends meet. Somehow you'll put up with that. But with this that requires you to get out there and actually do it for yourself, and the potential is huge, you can make a full-time income. You can become financially independent in this business if you want to do it. If you don't, you won't, and that's end of story, game over. So, but if you do, then put your all into it, lick your wounds, and get back up and get back in there. And above all, those daily tasks you do every day, sending out those invites. Yeah, you can do that for a long stretch of time and it'll feel like it's not producing anything. But trust me, the only way you're going to find out that it is if you don't quit. Because once you quit, you've just validated, and not only in your own mind, but in anybody in your family who has been doubtful and has been watching you, as soon as you back off and say, yeah, I guess I'm just not going to, then they're going, I knew it. I knew she wasn't going to do this. They're just, and maybe you have a history of doing it. So now they're going, it's just another one. I know she's going to do the same old thing she always does. She's going to get into this. She's going to be all gung-ho. She's going to get she, whatever, going to get going, and they're going to fall by the wayside as soon as something happens, and it's not going to work. And what you've now done is you've now validated in their mind that it won't work either. Because now you've just proven what they maybe have suspected all along. But it's not because the business doesn't work. It's because you didn't work the business. That's all it is. There are a lot of MLMs out there. If this one isn't for you, maybe you're somebody that's doing something else or has another one that you've gotten involved in. I'm actually telling you to go and do that one instead and leave this one. If this is not your passion, go do the one that is. But be very careful when you make that decision. And here's what I want to tell you. First of all, if you're doing this, two of them together, that's a big no-no, and that could be a big problem. So make sure you know the rules and read the policies and procedures if you really do want to stay here and you want to do that too. However, that said, if you think I just want to do that other one, this one isn't really doing it for me, then go do that other one. But understand right now, all the same issues that you've run into here, you're just going to take them with you and pick them all up out of that box and put them into that one. And you're just going to take them with you, and they're going to be there too. Unless you have some kind of a passion that holds you there that didn't hold you here. Otherwise, it's just going to be a repeat performance of the same thing. And you will become one of those people who jumps from one to one to one to one. Oh, I'm all enthusiastic, because every time you start a new one, it's like, oh my God, I'm really going to make this work. And then bam, you hit a wall and pretty soon you're not buying product anymore. You're not even working out, which, by the way, I don't get that. If you're a coach and you've come in and you love these products, even if you are no longer working your business, why on earth are you still not working on your fitness? Seriously? I mean, I've got coaches who started out with a lot of enthusiasm and are now pretty much discount coaches. They've decided to go that route instead. I've also had the flip side where a discount coach turns into a major player. But at least get your fitness and stay a discount coach. But it's when you go inactive and you stop using your products and you stop working out and you're not drinking your Shakeology. Then I'm thinking, what the heck? What in the world did you ever do this for? And then I have to say, you did it only for the money. And because otherwise you would still be drinking your Shakeology and you'd still be doing that. Now, granted, you might say you can't afford it anymore. Well, then get a couple of people under you and make sure it's covered. My point is this. If you believe in these products, you should be using them anyway, even if you're just a discount coach. If you don't believe in the products and you're not using them, then quit. That's my advice to you. Turn in your cancellation sheet and quit, because you're still paying a monthly fee unless your credit card expires, and then the company will eventually take it out of your hands and take you off anyway. So it'll become a no-brainer, because eventually they'll cancel you. Because I've seen that happen. I get these reports periodically saying these are your downline coaches who are in danger of being canceled. Sometimes it's a red flag, because I know it's somebody who's really working their business, and I know that probably a credit card has expired and they just didn't realize it. But a lot of times I don't even message the people that are on the list, because I've already recognized that these are people that are on their way out anyway. So, as a leader, as a leader of a team, I have to make choices. And my choices are, first of all, this is important to me. I know it can work. I know there's people out there who do it, because there's millions of people who are, thousands, millions, whatever. I don't know how many people are doing Beachbody in one form or another, either as a customer or a coach. You cannot tell me nobody's using these products, because clearly they are. So you just haven't been sticking with it long enough and talking to people long enough to hit those people. And you've let the ones that have said no, and there's a lot of those, there's going to be a lot of those, stop you. And that's another thing I'd like to say is, why let other people who just don't get it, who don't understand what they are turning down, why let them take your dream away? It's sad, but you can't, again, you're not going to be able to reach them if they are unreachable. So you can reach till you're blue in the face, and you might just topple over and hit your face on the ground, and you're still trying to reach them, and they're not reaching back. If somebody is not reaching back, be it a team member, be it a customer, be it a potential customer, whoever it is, if they're simply not reaching back, you have to walk away. You have to say, I'm here for you. If you want me, you know where to find me, but I have to go, because I have a business to build and I have people to help, and you don't want my help. So I just have to walk away. I'm sorry, but I do. I don't know if I've reached anybody on this. And again, probably the people that mainly need to hear it are often the ones that aren't even on the page anymore and not paying attention. Again, I'm not reaching them because they're not paying attention to me anymore. But those of you who are, I hope you take some nuggets away from this and remember them when times get tough and things get harder. And just tell yourself, I can get through this, because tomorrow it might be a whole different ball game. And if tomorrow's not great, then maybe the next day will be. But eventually, if you stay with it, you're going to have some great days. And your business is all of a sudden going to explode. So do those daily things every day. Don't let anything stop you. Pretend you have no escape route. And don't allow yourself to let up, because I guarantee you, if you do that, you will succeed. I guarantee it. I will give you my firstborn child. But you have to be consistent. And I know that those of you who are falling off by the wayside and are not moving are not consistent. I know it. I know it without even having to look. So go and look and see where your inconsistencies are, because you might be fooling yourself if you're not moving forward. You might think you're doing something you're really not doing. Go back and re-examine it and focus and stick to what you need to do, and do it, because this business can reward you in so many ways, not just financially. And if that's the only reason you're in it, it's for the wrong reasons. You should be in this not only to make yourself healthier and to live a longer, healthier life, but also to help people around you do the same thing. And remember that sometimes when you reach out and offer help to people, it doesn't have to be in the form of selling them something. Give them some advice, offer them some help, tell them some things that they can do to get started that don't cost them anything, and just be there for them, because then they build that trust with you. And those of you who think you're just doing that to sell something to somebody, I want to ask you this question. My daughter's planning a wedding. She was trying to get a hold of a photographer yesterday that she was interested in. And she was so excited about this photographer. And she sent him an email, and he sent her an email right back. And then she didn't hear from him all day long. Now, obviously, if she sets up something with this photographer, we're going to have to pay through the nose for his services. But we want to talk to him because we want what he has. And it's making us a little bit irritated that he's not getting back to us. And so you know what's happening? She's now going out on the internet and she's looking at other photographers. And she's actually found a few she likes better now, because that guy dragged his feet. Now, he may have been busy. Who knows what the reason was, but the point is he didn't get right back to her. He's going to be expensive. It's going to cost a lot of money. And we are beating down his door practically saying, we want what you have. Will you just talk to us so we can find out what's involved? So for those of you who think that Oh, I'm just making friends with people to sell them something. That's what I have to say to that. Get off of that. You're just rationalizing why you're not working your business. It's all you're doing. Because there are so many people out there who will thank you up one wall and down the other, who want what you have if you'll just offer it to them. And if you don't, they'll go find it from somebody else anyway. So why not be you? Anyway, this is kind of long. So like I said, treat it as something that you can just listen to. You don't have to see my ugly mug. Just listen to it while you're in the kitchen making dinner, or put it on in the background in the morning while you're getting dressed, or whatever. But I really hope that I've reached a few of you and made you realize that this is not always a cakewalk. But it's so worth it. It's so worth it. And if you learn the skills, they're not hard skills, but it does require consistency, and you do have to stick with it in order to make it work. And it can be so rewarding. You will be so glad you did. So that's my message for today. I would really